Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be talking about Nexpo's involvement in what is going on with MamaMax. So, MamaMax recently has been exposed for kind of scamming victims. I know it's weird to say that, but he has been trying to get all of these big YouTubers to side with him about a case against a guy named Camden Gerard Davis. This guy is kind of an alleged predator cult guy. He has had many victims, and all of these victims have been in touch with MamaMax. MamaMax has done some pretty stupid things in not helping them. He hasn't even reported the case to the police, and we had Nicholas DiOrio blow the case off the whole thing. Now, there were a few other people involved in this, and the one that we want to start off by talking about is Jim, aka Night Docs. Night Docs was a person who was extremely close to MamaMax, and MamaMax kind of side dished the guy. He called him an alleged predator. He said he was bad to his kids, and obviously that's not very cool without any proof. There was never any evidence of this. He told this to his close friends, and that included Nexpo. So Nexpo decided to hop on Nicholas DiOrio's video. Nicholas DiOrio really did a good job blowing this out of the water. Him and Mutahar both worked together and did something extremely wonderful. Again, MamaMax is the guy who claimed to try to cancel Moist Critical. He couldn't do it if he wanted to. So again, what I want to now get back to is Nexpo's side of the story. So Nexpo was kind of a bystander in this, in which he was very close to Night Docs at one point with MamaMax, and then MamaMax gave all of these alleged facts. Well, not facts, sorry. Alleged articles of condemnation is what we'll say, because in retrospect he really ruined this guy's chance of having any success on this platform and with bigger names until now, obviously, where it comes out that that's a lie. So basically the whole thing started when MamaMax was at dinner with Jim, and Jim was allegedly hitting on the waitress in a creepy way, and this sparked MamaMax to make up the rumor of him being a pedophile and how they all needed to stay away from him. Nexpo sided with MamaMax because he was just listening, and obviously he apologized to Jim for the whole thing. So I do want to show you guys Nicholas DiOrio's clip on this. If you just give me one moment, I will get that pulled up for us here. Either way, it's kind of a really fucked situation, because nobody really ever wants to deal with
there were
that.
two specific stories that Max really harped on when it came to Night Docs, at least whenever we had our little, I guess, falling out. So Max was convinced that Jim was this pedophile creep, and he backed up this claim with, firstly, a story about an inappropriate conversation that he claimed Jim had with a minor. As it turned out, this person was not a minor at all. They had told Jim their age at one point.
That is something that I didn't touch on. At one point, that's the alleged minor thing, but I didn't say that the person that he actually talked to was, I think, 20 or 25.
Which I believe was like 25 or so. I'm not entirely sure, but that's that whole story that Max always referred to back whenever he would call Jim a predator. There was another story that led to more of Max believing Jim to be, I guess, a creep, and it involved one trip to a restaurant that he and Jim had way back when Max was living with Jim. Apparently Jim was, making moves on the waitress and, continuously hitting on her, and he just wouldn't stop, and it made this, I guess, situation or this dinner that they were at very tense and awkward. Basically, every single time that I was with Max during the time when we had our, I guess, falling out, I guess you could call it, Max would perpetuate this narrative that Jim was this creep, and he would always refer back to these two stories. And I guess I just never really vetted them, because Max kind of planted this idea in my head that, oh my god, we're associated with Jim, we have to cut Jim, we cannot be associated with someone like this, he's a pedophile, he's a creep, he's all of these things, and we can't associate with this guy. And in hindsight, it's silly to just listen to this, especially with this track record of just throwing out allegations without any evidence. But yeah, that was the I guess, narrative that Max was running with. And I guess I didn't realize that he could have been, embellishing some details. Jim, I know you're watching this. To you, man, I want to say that I'm sorry. I know I've been talking to you privately behind the scenes about all this, but again, I'd like to go on the record.
So we can pause it there, and then I would like to talk to you guys about why this makes MamaMax look so bad. So let's say you have an inner group of friends, correct? And then you start spouting lies about one of your other friends, and now all of your friends believe it. When they find out it's going to be bullshit, you really think you're going to be trustworthy in that friend group. Now let's take that to a masses of online. Everybody gets to see the exposure of this huge lie, this thing that you did where you accuse somebody of being something so horrendous when they weren't, without any fucking evidence. And now you get to sit here and stammer on and on about how it's not true and that these people are making it so the victims can't be helped. Well, I'm going to sit here and say that's fucked up. I'm going to also say that the fact that you think you can lie and have people then trust you about anything else you can say when the lie was so goddamn big, it just really puts you in this position of not being a trustworthy person. So, more to this, if we were to go back, we can go back and listen to what some of the stuff Night Docs had to say. But before I press play on this, I want it to be clear that I think it's just horrendous that you think you could just pull this shit and get away with it. I don't think that it's even smart for you to have the main victim, the person you put center stage, you hyped up all of their content, you've been fucking family friends with this person since you were like children. I just I don't get it. I think her name, or the name she goes by, is like Steven or some shit like that, or fucking, I don't know. It's something really out there, but you made her the lead financial person. Like, where has that money gone? What's been done with it? You haven't built legal cases for people. You haven't done anything. And yet you still sit here and beg for people to support your cause when there's just nothing to support. Mudahar has done more in the fucking 2 weeks that this has been a thing than you've done in 3 years. In 3 years, you hadn't even been able to get the police involved, and all you've been doing is taking what I think you've been doing is taking that money and putting it towards your little horror movies that you make on the side that are about the alleged pedophiles. I don't get it. I don't know how you sit there and do this shit and just expect the whole world to be on your side, dude. It's truly just a fucked up situation. I would like to get Jim's side of this because Jim's a pretty big part of everything that we have to go through here. In fact, he's kind of enormous, and I think there will be some points that I have to skip through because I don't want to like take Nick's points away, but I just want this to be known.
On a live stream 2 years ago. But you've even told me offline that he lived rent-free in your house for months. Can you explain the allegations that Max has made against you to the best of your ability and respond if necessary? Yeah.
His allegations against me.
Sorry, I just want to make sure you guys can hear it.
I'm a neglectful parent to I am a creep, that I'm a pedophile.
I hope that's not too loud.
The one that I was
have to be
most bothered by really was when he was calling me a pedophile. He wasn't saying it publicly. None of the allegations he had against me were said publicly. He was doing it all behind the scenes with the people.
Another thing that I think is really sneaky, great, this is why I wanted to go back to his clip. The fact that MamaMax does this behind the scenes is just insane. He goes behind his back. He goes beyond the public. He doesn't want to bring it to public light because he knows he's going to get proven wrong. And then he goes and tells his inner circle of friends who are obviously going to believe him because he probably propped them up at one point, or they propped each other up, and it was this huge helping circle. So why wouldn't they have the time to trust him? But obviously, if there would have been some reading along the lines or asking of proof instead of just dogging on their guy, then there would have been at least an earlier conclusion. Somebody would have came out about MamaMax a lot sooner if there could have just been some digging into the Night Docs case sooner, which sucks. And I'm so sorry to hear that. And MamaMax, I think it's just disgusting, bro.
People that I was closest to. I opened my home to this guy. I let him live, not paying a dime in rent. He didn't do any chores. He didn't pay any rent.
Wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that relative before this. I didn't listen to the whole audio clip. He was letting MamaMax live with him and stay in the same house as him, and MamaMax was doing this shit behind his back. That's just disgusting human behavior. It's just upsetting.
really didn't do anything. So like if he's complaining about how one time he fed my kids breakfast or whatever, he owed my kids breakfast, lunch, and dinner every time I had them. And he never once offered to compensate me or do anything in return either.
You heard that correct.
Okay, we'll skip over that, but that's just the fact that he sat there, lived in his house, complained about having to. I guess did he pay for Jim's kids' meals? Is that what I was seeing, or he was mad that his kids were eating the food? I'm so confused. It's just an upsetting situation. Um, I hate to hear that this is even happening. I feel like if you could have just been a more mature motherfucker, Mama Max, then you'd probably be in a lot better position. But you had to go and lie. You had to go and say everything you did was real. You really fucked up, man. And it's just awful to see it. All right, I think I'm gonna end this video here. I'm pretty down bad and upset about it. But thank you all for coming out. If you did enjoy it, please leave a subscription on the channel. It means so much to me, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye bye.